Intro music.
Come on in.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
They have acquired Eric Johnson and Fernando Tatis Jr. from the White Sox in exchange for James Shield.
Welcome to Slam Diego.
My name is James.
My name is Joey.
And this is the Brothers Padre.
Welcome to the most extravagantest, wonderfulestness, holliestness time of the year, James. And of course, what I mean is the semi-annual, mostly annual, 2 days before Christmas, Brothers Padre podcast. Good job, everybody. Good job.
Yay!
Welcome.
We all have to cut Joey a little slack this episode.
Do we?
Both of his children, 2 and under, haven't slept in 5-7 weeks?
Yeah. Well, who's counting? But 7. No. Yeah, it's okay. I love them dearly. Just they can grow up quickly, please. Hurry up and grow up. That's what I tell them every morning. Actually, in the middle of the night every night.
When they're not going to sleep. Yep. All right. Merry Christmas, Joey.
Merry Christmas, James. It's been a fun 2022. And we have a little bit of Padres news catch up.
Yeah.
We only reserve emergency podcasts for big deals. And we determined all the news wasn't big deal enough, but big enough to have episodes about it. So we have a packed show. And should we just jump into it, James?
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. We were going to do one, but for Matt Carpenter, but Joey was like, I haven't slept in 2 days.
Well, I thought it was weird mentioning Matt Carpenter when it's so near another Carpenter's birthday. You know what I mean?
That's a stretch. Not such a stretch you can see through it. Like that.
Well.
We have some signings, Joey.
Yes, we do.
Exciting baseball news.
Yes, we do. But first, James, we got to talk about one signing that we did not do. But the Cincinnati Reds signed our pal, our friend, William Bradford Myers to a 2-year deal, technically with an opt-out after the first year to play outfield and first base. Most likely not, because Votto's there for the Cincinnati Reds. So he is no longer a San Diego Padre.
End of an era. It truly is.
He was a Padre for 8 years, right? 7.5 years?
Yeah, 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, he went through it all. I mean, he literally was here the entire A.J. Preller era, and he saw the really rough start, and then he saw the fruition of what the best Padre teams have. I think the best Padre team ever. You know,
yeah.
I don't think I'm speaking out of school here, but I think legitimately ever. And he played a role in it in 2020 playoffs. He was key in that Cardinals victory, and I'm gonna miss him.
I am too. I've always liked him, and the thing is, like, because we're Padre fans, there's been a lot of seasons where we've only had the one guy.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you and I grew up with Tony Gwynn, and after Tony Gwynn, it was Phil Nevin, Ryan Klesko,
Jake Peavy, Trevor Hoffman, Adrian Gonzalez, and then there was like a stretch where we had nobody. It seemed like it was forever. It was like once we got rid of Adrian Gonzalez and Jake Peavy, it felt like it was a decade where we didn't have it. It was 4 years, but it was a decade, and then we got signed Will Myers, who was the former Rookie of the Year, huge contract, first big contract the Padres ever gave anybody. No, he didn't live up to his hitting, but he did everything you asked of a guy. Oh yeah,
somebody who was drafted as a catcher. He played all 3 outfield positions for the Padres at one point. He third base and first base as a Padre. He pitched for us at one point when we were being blown out. He did everything we were asked of it. He's a great defender, and Again, he was the only person to root for. In 2016, when the All-Star game was in Petco Park, he was our sole representative. He participated in the Home Run Derby. There's a lot to admire for a player that does that. Also, he was just an honest guy. He would never, blame it on somebody else. Yeah, I gotta do better next time. You're right. I gotta do better next time. I'm gonna miss him because I've always liked him. I always like guys that you can rely on in multiple positions.
Yeah, and I think you kind of touched on something that I really, really liked about him, which is he took responsibility. He never was someone who pretended he was someone else. He knew he wasn't the Will Myers that they signed up for, but he still played where he was asked to do, and he still was a goofball with the fans and still wasn't dishonest with the fans, which is just, that's what you want in a player who not living up to their contract. And he did right by a lot of fans, and that goes a long way, especially in San Diego, anywhere really, but in San Diego especially, because we have real stars on our team right now. We are the third highest payroll in baseball, which is still an insane thing for me to say.
It almost sounds like you're making it up.
No, I'm not.
I know.
So it's just, I think I saw more chatter about him leaving than us getting Xander Bogaerts from the Padres community. And there was excitement obviously, but just people really like Will Myers, and it's just going to be bummed to see him go. But he wanted to play in a team where he could start every day, and the Reds are going to give it to him. He's just not going to be able to start every day and take that cheap of a contract with us, right?
I agree. And also, like I said, I don't blame him for leaving. There was no place for him to play. I wish, because he could still be an everyday starter, and I hope that he's the comeback player of the year next year. I really do. Also, I like the fact that he has in his contract he's on with the Reds, because the Reds the last couple of years like to sign veteran players, give him a show-me contract, and then trade him halfway through the season to get prospects. In Will Myers' contract, it says, if you trade me, you give me $2 million more.
Listen, man, that's awesome. Trade him, please. Give him more money.
Yeah.
And
let's not, obviously all the videos of him buying drinks at several bars downtown after we took out the Dodgers.
Yeah. Legendary stuff.
And his thing in the locker room, I've lost to that team up the freeway so many times this 8 years, but this one victory makes them all worth while. It was great.
He is going to receive a huge ovation when he comes to town. I don't think he's prepared for it. I legit think people are gonna they're gonna show up just to see him.
I agree, and ultimately, I think the biggest thing for him was his farewell. For those of you who don't know, Will Myers and his wife Maggie took out a whole page of the Union Tribune, and he said it was a giant thank you letter to the fans and San Diego. He thanked the organization. He said he was honored to represent you as an all-star at Petco Park. A pinnacle moment for his family. And playing in October in 2022. And he'll miss the weather, the golf, Coronado, California burritos, and so many things. He needs to come back. He's looking forward to playing us in May. And I think that farewell, I encourage all of you to look it up, read the whole thing. It's only a couple paragraphs. But that one farewell is the classiest farewell I've ever seen a baseball player do it. That is a step above class act. That is super class act. And for that reason, yes, everyone is going to cheer so loud for him when he shows up in May.
You floated something that you would love to have happen with Will Myers. What is that?
If he has a turnaround season and the Padres need a little help off the bench, it would be funny if we trade for him.
I would love it. I think it'd be so amazing. It'd be like a Brandon Drury situation The same exact situation, right?
Yeah.
Grand jury had an opt-out or a 1-year deal. And so, yeah, it'd be awesome. And the whole vibe would just be, it'd be immaculate. It would just be a great vibe addition if we're in the middle of next season, 2023 season, and just we get Will Myers back. But good luck, Will.
Yeah, and regardless, I think he might be an analyst for us someday.
Yeah, or just he'll be content playing golf every day in North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, he's made enough money.
We'll miss you, Will. We'll be cheering from you when you're not playing the Padres.
Exactly. And even if you are playing for us, we're going to wish you well.
Yeah, it's true. James, but for real signings with San Diego Padres, the Padres are doing no trading. Trading, it seems like, in Major League Baseball is taboo, which is... Today was the biggest trade in baseball between the Blue Jays and the Diamondbacks, but it's not Diamondbacks or Blue Jays podcast. It's a San Diego Padres podcast. So the first biggest signing was one Seth Lugo, former New York Met. He was a New York Met for a long time, who was a starter for a while, and then he became a bullpen piece. And now he's coming on to our team with an expectation kind of like Nick Martinez was last year. Excuse me. Where he'll be a starter, but he could end up being the bullpen eventually.
Yes. Very Nick Martinez type player. Has wanted to sign with us because he knew he had a chance to start. Has good stuff. The Mets just never had a place for him. It's going to be interesting. He's an interesting sign. At the very least, he'll be he might be one of those start Martinez, finish with Lugo type piggyback circumstances. Should be fine. It's not a bad arm to add whatsoever.
No. Curveball's nasty. But yeah, it's one of those. I mean, no contract, if you follow Major League Baseball, contracts this year are low, but relatively it's a buy low, high upside sort of.
Yeah,
deal.
exactly.
So excited for that. Depth is always good. You and I are both big fans of a 6-man rotation.
Yes,
which
we
we'll
are.
mention later in this show, potentially, and in our special segment at the end. But yeah, it would help towards that 6-man rotation, which would be awesome. Any other comments about Seth Lugo?
No.
The 8-letter phenom, I like to call him. How many Padre players have had so little letters in their names?
I
mean, things that keep me up at night.
What's keeping you up at night is your children, and that is what's keeping you thinking of these stupid things.
I was thinking when I was looking at his name, it's like you could type it like his first name, and then you do a line break, press enter on the keyboard, and press his last name, and then it would just be the same. It'd be 4 and 4, a perfect little box. Those are the kind of things I think about when I'm in the middle of the night trying to calm my crying children. So, anyways,
you make fatherhood sound so great.
It's awesome. 10 out of 10. We'll do it again. Obviously, I did. The next one, the second best Carpenter ever, Matt Carpenter, has signed also with the San Diego Padres. Former New York Yankee last year, and then longtime St. Louis Cardinal.
Longtime St. Louis Cardinal pest.
Yeah.
He has always been a real good contact, put the ball anywhere in play type guy. Everyone thought he was going to retire. The Yankees signed him to a minor league contract last year, and he carried that team. Him and Aaron Judge carried that team in the first half of the season, and then he broke his foot and he couldn't continue the season, but he was having an amazing comeback year. He signed with the Padres because he's excited to be on a team that's competing for a World Series. And he's exactly what the Padres needed. A left-handed bat off the bench and or DH.
Yep.
And he can play a decent first base.
So if we need to give certain people days off or give Manny a chance or Xander a chance to be, still funny to say Xander's on our team, chance to be a DH one day.
Yep.
It just gives so many more options. And the one thing we did not have last year, we've talked about before, was a left-hand man off the bench. And like we got Dole, and he's going to be a utility outfielder type guy. He's a left-handed guy. He's not the best hitter, but he's somebody off the bench. And we have Carpenter now. This is an amazing sign.
So right now, with Carpenter, after April 20th, which is when Tatis returns, is the ideal lineup this? Batting first, Tatis, Soto. I have no idea what 3 and 4 is, so I'm just going to pick Bogart, Machado. All 4 of these guys, apart from Machado, can bat first anyway. The 1 to 4 is just gross. And it's just disgusting.
It's awesome.
Anyway, so those 4 guys, top 4, batting 5th. Do you have Jake and then Carpenter? And then do you have Nola catcher and then Kim and then Grisham? Like where does Carpenter fit in? I think he probably bats lower. I think he bats, or he could bat 5th. I don't know. I don't know where he fits, but
it all depends on who's hot and who's not.
Yeah.
Bob Melvin's not afraid to shift the lineup a little bit. I kind of like the idea of Tatis, Soto, Manny, Xander. It's so tough. Because, I mean, or maybe even having like if Cronenworth might get better pitches to see, because who wants to put Cronenworth leading off? He's going to see a lot of fastballs because, and then this Cronenworth, Tatis, Soto, Machado, Bogarts, Carpenter. It's just if, and then Kim, and then Nola. It's so unbelievable, the depth of the team right now. It really is
awesome. I love it. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I don't know really what the optimal but I don't think it really matters, because once you get to 6th in the lineup, and let's just say that Matt Carpenter, because Matt Carpenter last year had a crazy year. Legitimately, like when he played, he was insane.
Yes.
If he's 3/4 of that, like you get to number 6 and you face that guy, you're gonna have a tough time, and then you're gonna face Kim and Nolan and Grisham, who all give you great at bats. So yeah, it's gonna be a problem. And so Carpenter is a high. He sees a lot of pitches. He does not chase a lot. And him and Trent Grisham train in the offseason together.
I know. That's great. And Trent Grisham was like, come to San Diego, man. The weather is great.
Yeah. So I love it. I think it's just what we needed, like you said. And I'm excited. I think it means certain goodbyes. I mean, I think it basically means Profar's not going to be back.
Yeah. I think that's pretty obvious. And
unless we trade Grisham and have, I don't know. If we trade Grisham, has to be for a starter.
I think as with, I mean, yes, I can see that, but with the banning of the shift, defense will be a premium.
Yeah.
And I think Grisham's going to have a way better offensive year this year, because you put him 9th, there's 2 men on, Trent Grisham's up, there's 1 out. I'm going to want to pitch to Trent Grisham, because if I don't get him out, I have to face, look, our starting 9 players, 6 of them are all-stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let that sink in. I mean, Hassan Kim, Trent Grisham, and our catcher would be all, because we don't know who's going to be our starting catcher. Probably Nola, probably Camposano. 6 of our 9 guys have all been previous All-Stars.
Yeah. No, it's a stacked lineup. It's going to be very fun to watch.
Very fun to watch.
I am very, very excited. Yeah, Matt Carpenter's a good little pickup. It's a good vibe. He's a big old mustache. He might shave it off.
I was going to say, I'm looking, if Carpenter comes to San Diego and does very well, he's a very likable kind of a guy.
Yeah.
He's a lot like a Will Myers.
Yeah.
Down-to-earth guy. I can see a Matt Carpenter fan club starting where people will show up with big old cop mustaches on their face.
Didn't the Cardinals, didn't he have like a Three Musketeers beard with the Cardinals?
I think at one point, but he's had that mustache for a few years.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be funny, have a bunch of guys with, Wyatt Earp mustaches walking around as the Carpenter fans. The Carpenter posse, as I would have just called it. I would wear a fake mustache.
Yeah, he used to have he's a fan of the facial hair. I'm learning from my Google image search of Matt Carpenter. He likes his facial hair, so I agree. That'd be super fun.
Yeah.
Other things that we've done, the Padres have picked up Pedro Severino for a minor league deal. Catcher who played for the Orioles last year, who has major league experience. Doesn't really move the needle for me at all, but it's a depth piece in case one of our guys go down. We don't really have major league catchers in our system. Major league capable catchers in our system besides Campusano and Nola.
I've been saying it for a while. This is Campusano's show me year. We have this new guy and Gallagher still, and we always have Webby Rivas. Like, yes, it might not be the best, but I think it's a sink or swim year for Campusano.
I hope so, because I definitely think that offensively and even defensively, it's kind of a mystery to me, the catching position for the San Diego Padres. Now, I say that, but Nola did throw out Mookie Betts, so maybe. And we did fire Francisco Cervelli, our catching coach.
Yes,
and I like Francisco Cervelli. But obviously, he's not teaching good enough fundamentals because we couldn't throw out a single person.
No.
So something needed to change. So hopefully that fixes itself via the magic of hiring people.
And also, I just want to give myself a pat on the back.
Okay. Yeah. He's really patting himself on the back. Yeah.
We said in our final episode of the year what we're going to look for. Who do we think we're going to trade?
Yeah.
I said I don't think we're going to trade a lot of people. I think we're going to do a lot of signings.
Yeah. I'm not going to listen to that episode to verify it, but I remember that.
Because you're like, oh, interesting. James is big stupid over here.
Yeah, I think that's a direct quote. I've been known to throw on the phrase "big stupid" all the time, especially in our podcast.
Everyone knows it, Joey. Don't hide behind anything. Anyways, that was so. Yeah, it's the Matt Carpenter sign and the Seth Lugo signing are really great. This is starting again. This last year was a great Padre team. This year's a better Padre team. We haven't played a game yet.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, our lineup. I mean, we went to the NLCS without Xander Bogaerts and Tatis Jr.
I know.
You're just like, oh my god. I mean, I think this is not on the agenda, but I'm gonna speak to Padre fans that are nervous is the wrong word. They're apprehensive on Tatis returning. I'm going to say this again. When he's right, he's the best player in baseball.
Yeah.
I'm not being hyperbolic. He can hit like Judge. He's fast like Shohei. Can't pitch like Shohei. So I guess,
Can't win them all.
Well, can't win them all. But offensively, he's one of the best players, if not the best player in baseball.
And he's a game changer.
Yeah. He have every right to feel annoyed by it. That he was not a team player. That's fair. But if he performs and he outworks and he shows up and posts, we got to give him credit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there are plenty of people in Major League Baseball circles that are well heralded that also had suspensions. Nelson Cruz said, don't outrun the talk, outwork it. And listen, when that kid is right, it's special. Like, it's in 2021, the amount of times you just knew Tatis was going to go off. It always did. It was like, oh, we need a special moment, and Tatis is coming up, and a special moment happened.
The best case is when we were playing that Houston game, where it was the bottom of the ninth, and the tying run was on base. He was a tying run, and he fouled the ball off, and their first baseman couldn't make the catch. And like the catcher, the Astros catcher had this weird look on his face, and all the Astros were just like, and even the announcer was like, "Oh, I hope that doesn't lead to a big moment." And the next pitch was over the train tracks. He hit it out of the stadium. It was insane, and that's the kind of player he is. And he's the type of player that, just think about this: if Tatis is on, like he's hitting everything, you would rather face Soto and Machado and Bogarts.
Oh, man.
Just that sentence is so outrageous. Like, yeah, you can. That's so great. It's so
we're forgetting the fact that Soto had an off year last year, even though he was a top 10 hitter last year.
Yeah,
like it's just Soto has the potential. Like Soto, people say is like our generation Ted Williams. It's not a joke. Like he has that capability. Banning the shift, him hitting. I mean, near the end of the playoff run, he was not hitting ground balls. All he was doing was launching the ball.
Yeah.
He was murdering the baseball.
Oh, it's going to be so awesome. This year is going to be pretty awesome, Joe.
I am very, very excited. Well, that's all the Padre news for now. But we're gonna shift gears to MLB stuff, and then we'll come back around to Padres stuff.
Yeah.
So only because I find this story very funny.
It's so awesome. So as many people know, the Giants.
Heard of them.
Yeah. Well, let's see what they have had an outstanding, probably even better, offseason. The Padres.
Oh my god!
I mean, they signed Aaron Judge, they signed Carlos Rondon, and then they signed Carlos Correa. Oh well, if you only followed half the stories on Giants Twitter, you would assume that's what they did.
Right. Yeah, that's not what they got. None of those guys. None of them. Despite being the running for all of them.
Missed out on Judge first. Then they missed out on Rondon. And then they decided we have to make a splash. And they gave Carlos Correa a ton of money. And then they sort of went, psych.
The story is, officially, which is not necessarily what the story is, but that's what the details given was, the Giants were hesitant about a leg injury ankle injury that Correa sustained 8 years ago in the minor leagues. And they were worried it was going to pop up again. So Carlos Correa was in San Francisco. He flew out his entire family. They were in the hotel ready to give a press conference. He went house shopping in the Bay Area the day before. This is all real.
I know. It's
and the Giants get effectively most of the Giants' Twitter. It's like they got cold feet. They're like, we don't want to spend as much money on this guy, and because no one's like, so he was an all-star and I'm doing air quotes World Series champion with a bad ankle for 8 years, and he was played at a high level. So how bad is this ankle injury? If his whole major league career has been literally been on this bad ankle, so most people call BS on it. Like, this is not real, and so So the storyline, the timeline was Giants are like suspended this press conference. Then literally 12 hours later, in the middle of the night, the New York Mets signed Carlos Correa for a $315 million deal, ballooning their payroll with taxes to $500 million, which is twice what the Padres payroll is. And once again, the Padres payroll is the third highest in baseball.
Yeah, it is truly nuts. Also, the funny thing is, so Carlos Correa was an impulse buy for the Giants.
Yeah, and then they got cold feet.
So basically, if you've ever gone to a grocery store, let's make up a name, Walmart, and you go in to the register and you see all this like, hey, look, there's, somebody stuck a random tin of soup on the shelf. Oh, because they thought they wanted it, and they changed their mind right before they paid for it. That's what it was.
This is like when I want to buy that fancy Iberico ham at Costco. It's a very fancy ham. It's like $100.
Yeah,
comes with a knife. It was once in my cart once, and I got out to like, I don't need fancy ham. I just turn around and put it back.
I am not a fancy ham man.
Like, where am I gonna? Because it's like a piece of furniture. It's like, where am I gonna put this fancy ham?
Well, it's a whole leg of ham.
I'm only one guy, and I was like, where am I gonna put this fancy ham of leg ham? Ham leg. What is it? Ham hock. How would they call it?
Who cares?
Yeah. Anyways,
it's
like
over.
that. It's like that. It's like that. And I just return it, and it's a real bad look for the Giants because
they have a massive war chest. I don't know if you know this.
They keep saying these things. They've yet to expose this war chest, though. Yeah, it's a horrible look. Because why would you sign a big deal now with the Giants if part of you's like, oh, this could just go really south? Like, if they just get cold feet during the press conference phase of the negotiations, which, by the way, should be you're done.
Yeah, the ink should already be dry.
Yeah.
The other thing about this situation, because it's fun making fun of the Giants, it's more proof that their 107 win season was a total fluke.
Oh yeah,
because they set a major league record for the most single run victories.
Yeah,
so that they could have easily lost all those. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah. So the Giants settled today by signing Michael Conforto, who hasn't played in a while because of a serious shoulder injury. So, they really care about injuries in Giants land. And then they signed old friend Taylor Rogers to play with his brother Tyler Rogers. So they'll be now twins playing in the Bay.
I mean, it's a shame they're not in Minnesota.
Yeah, true.
Twins and the Twins.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's so funny because are the Giants jealous of the incompetency of the Rockies? Like, the Rockies were already the worst run team in our division, and now the Giants we don't know.
Yeah, I think the issue is that Coors Field will always be that team, that Coors Field will always be a destination in Denver.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to get to the T-Mobile Park or whatever it's called, AT&T Park. What is it? What is it? T-Mobile Park? AT&T
I think
Park.
it's AT&T Park.
Yeah. I just feel like, I think the owner of the Giants is like, I just kind of want to be this what they call a lifestyle business, James. You familiar with this term? A business where it's just you don't have to do much with it. It's just going to some extra income here and there. And now he can't because he just he pretends he has this war chest. He pretends to pretend but wants to win baseball games. And he just whiffs on them. And there's no reason why they whiffed on Carlos Correa. There's none. Except that they got cold feet. And it's just, if I'm a big free agent, which I'm not, but if I was, I'm not going to Giants because they can't even sustain. I don't want to be it's embarrassing. You brought your family there. You went house shopping. It's embarrassing to be oh, we don't actually like you, even though we've used your image in season ticket emails and already used you to sell tickets. You're what? Just kidding. And guess who doesn't care? The New York Mets. They just sign them instantly.
Yeah.
You know what's a real war chest? The New York Mets.
New York Mets. It's insane, outrageous.
Yeah, I think there's someone said that the New York Mets payroll is larger than 16 different countries in the world, GDP wise.
I don't doubt it. I do not doubt it. I mean, the only thing that we can really look forward to is the perp walk for Steve Cohen, because that seems to be every time they start spending a ton of money, their owner goes to jail.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think they're the best team in the East.
They're not.
I think the Braves, if that young core does what it's supposed to do, it is such a crazy good team. Like, it's not going to be easy in the NL East.
No, not at all. And Carlos Correa does have an injury-prone past.
Yeah, that is true.
He can
Not the ankle, though.
not the ankle. He's had a back problem. He's only ever played 2 seasons injury-free.
Yep.
Their 2 top pitchers are older than the 2 of us.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy. And yeah, we wanted Senga, but Senga is still a question mark. I just there's a little bit of me that wants to see an epic collapse of the Mets.
There's nothing more amazing than watching people spend money to succeed and watch it fail. That's just the American way. So we love to see it. Like, we just love it. And I think it's also because, like, I'm not on the side of like, this is ruining baseball. I don't think it's ruining baseball. Baseball, you can, like, the New York Mets can still be taken out by an 85-win team.
Yes.
Given the chaotic nature of baseball. That's why we love baseball, when it comes into the playoffs. So I don't think it's bad for baseball to have a team that gets stars on it, right? Like, it's so interesting. Someone brought this up too, is like, well, the Yankees in the 90s were like this. I'm like, you forget how much of that team was just homegrown talent that was very good.
Yeah.
Like, Jeter wasn't signed. He came up with the organization.
Same with Prasada.
Yeah. These are, I mean, they're the richest team in baseball. So they had the best training staff, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I'm not saying they're not spending money, but, it's still talent. You have to show up. You have to hit the baseball. You have to pitch with the baseball. And if one of those people in the starting rotation get hurt, it crumbles. It really does. I don't think it's as deep of a rotation.
You know who's wishing for Carlos Correa to get hurt more than anybody else?
Who?
The Giants general manager.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
It happens. He's going to put up a giant billboard in the middle of San Francisco. I told you so.
Yeah. He'll just find paparazzi spots and sit in front of them and just a big old smile.
Yep. Most likely.
But the Giants don't. I don't know where they're going. I'm not super scared of them, to be honest. I'm actually more scared of the Diamondbacks in the division because all those young, stupid, fast outfielders are just stupid and fast.
Yeah.
How do they get so fast?
I don't know how they get so fast. Like,
do they train with roadrunners out there? Is that how?
I guess. Or they sign sprinters and then teach them how to play baseball.
Too fast. They're just too fast. But yeah, that's all the baseball news. And shall we reflect on the season, James? The reason for the season.
Yep.
And that's
Gifts.
Yeah.
So the Padres have made a lot of improvements, but who do you think the Padres we want under the Padres Christmas tree this year?
Yeah, I mean, if this is we've mentioned now basically the whole roster in this episode. If this is we didn't mention any of the bullpen pieces, but if we went to opening day with this team, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah. This team right now is the best team in the National League West.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would like a 6-man rotation with the fourth starter being largely a starter.
Yeah.
Right, who's been a starter most of his career. Excuse me. So I would like a starter. And we've been linked to there's not a whole lot left because the marquee guys always go first, it seems like most times. So I would like we've been linked to him in recent times, Johnny Cueto. He has I want to say he's calling him polarizing won't make sense until you watch him pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a low velocity, funky delivery guy. And I think he's always pitched tons of innings in his career. And I think that's kind of what we need, especially because, like, I think this team is built around the hope of scoring lots of runs.
Yes.
So I don't think we need to spend a lot of money on the best starter. But if we get someone that gives 150 innings, that might be enough, right? Because we have enough swing guys, we have enough bullpen pieces, that's going to be enough. And so I think, like, I would rather do that, see how it develops, and maybe mid-season trade for a starter if we need it. But yeah, that's why I would say another starter. So, what about you, Jane? What do you want?
Johnny Cueto would be nice. Nathan Eovaldi, I think, would be a better option, just because he's a bit younger and he has better stuff. It's hard to say because I know Johnny Cueto as the guy that we've beaten up on.
Yeah, I texted you 2 Tatis home runs off him, and they're like nukes.
Yeah, they're unbelievable. So I've seen the Padres beat up on him, but he's always had a good ERA.
Yeah.
He's always around 3.5 ERA, and he eats innings. So he's a good pitcher, and with a team that will, if we provide as much runs this team has potential to do, a starter could give up 3 runs, or we could still win the game by 4.
Right.
So yeah, I think he's a good option. I'd rather have Eovaldi, but
Eovaldi has like nasty, like legit overpowering stuff.
He's probably the best player still on the free agent market.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of like guys that could be good though.
Yes.
In the market.
One of them who is not going to be good is Zach Greinke. And if I see one more, hey, we should sign Zach Greinke. No, maybe we shouldn't. That would be stupid.
Yeah, I think his days, unless he comes back like ripping and roaring, I don't think so. I think it's just who he is. I love Zach Greinke, but I don't think he fits this Padre team. But I don't know. I also feel like you want a guy who's ultra competitive.
Yes.
And Greinke is, when in his prime, was an extremely good pitcher, but wasn't necessarily, but like had an incredible skill set, but wasn't like for lack of a better term, a dog. He wasn't like, I'm going out here and grinding. I'm just like I'm very skilled. I'm just going to do my skilled thing, right? It's like DeGrom, right?
Yeah.
One tops out 89, one does 102. So
yes,
Greinke doesn't have 102.
Not anymore. No.
So yeah, I like Eovaldi a lot. It's just Eovaldi's, it's because he was given a qualifying offer. We would lose our 2nd and 6th round pick. I don't know how much they care about that anymore. I also wouldn't be mad about I wouldn't mind. It just depends on how we treat Trent Grisham, I guess. If Trent Grisham's tradable, then we're going to need another outfield piece, right?
That's true.
Because Nola, Kim, and Grisham last year in the regular season, for the most part, wasn't as productive every day.
No.
Kim destroys left-handed pitching, right? So he'll always hit against lefties, right? But how do you, are you okay with taking a risk on Trent to see if he bounces back? And how do you treat Nola? Because there's no good catchers anymore available. And I guess I'm trying to say is, are you willing to let a third of your lineup be, I hope they get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I could see the Padres brass being like, we want more. We want a better platoon center fielder, right? So we'll trade for somebody. But if I was the GM of Padres, I would get a starter. So, what would you do? Starter as well.
Starter as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that's the formula that got us the NLCS, and it's just so tough to be like, let's change it up, right? And listen, you mentioned it a few times. Campusano could be. He has power, and this could be his year where he just becomes a real offensive threat, and that'd be awesome.
I think that would be great. Yeah. And how awesome would it be if he represents the Padres as well in the All-Star game?
I'm into it, James. I'm very into that idea. So, well, James, because it's about gifts, you and I got each other gifts.
Yes, we got each other brothers Padres gifts.
Yes. Totally not because our birthdays are so close to Christmas. These are totally Christmas gifts to each other. So how are we going to do this? So you're handing me a wrap present. I'm handing you an envelope.
You are handing me an envelope, so I assume it's legal papers.
Okay, so do you want to open yours first? Want to open the same? You open yours first.
All right. Let's see what it is.
I wonder. They're very eerily similar shaped books.
It's a San Diego Padres cookbook
from 1996.
Oh my goodness! For those who don't know, I'm a bit of an amateur cook, and that is holy cow!
I
didn't even know this was a part of.
I didn't either. I don't know if it's going to be any good because open up. I think it's actually like recipes from the players. So it's a cookbook that was by the Towers, I think, Foundation, as like a way to raise money for a charity. And so it's like, it has tabs in it like an old school cookbook.
Yeah. Entrees. Yeah, there's pictures of the team. Yeah, Scott Sanders, this is his entrees. Larry Lucchino, his entrees. Yeah, Doug Butcher, Bruce Bochy, what his wife cooks. Oh my goodness! So it's a little thing about each player and each person on the team. A little history about the person, and White Chicken Chili by Jody Reed. I don't even remember who that is. Wow, this is really cool, Joe.
Yeah, someone posted bean
burritos by the Andy Ashby.
I mean, what are we doing here, dude?
I know, right? Like everyone knows you want good Mexican food, you go to somebody's last name is Ashby. Wow. Brad Osmus.
And it's around the time, obviously, where you like the Padres a lot.
Yeah. Brad Osmus, hamburger pie.
I'm willing to bet most of them are pretty gross.
I mean,
you gotta try making a couple of them.
Yeah, of course. Opening day, let's make a couple of them.
These burritos. I don't know why that sounds so gross to me, but like here's Ashby's burritos. I'm like, are you sure? Sure about this?
Okay.
I'm glad you like it, dude. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'm opening this guy up. You had time to wrap your present. It is a something. It is an advertisement.
Flip it around.
I'm pretty sure it's a magazine. Flip it around. A Padres magazine. The official game program of the new Padres. Opening week, genuine swinging friar. Wally Joyner. That's what I thought it was. This is a 98 Padres magazine.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So if any of you that haven't have walked around Petco Park and you've ever seen this picture's in Petco Park several times, Wally Joyner dressed up as a swinging friar was from this photo, from this magazine.
Wearing Birkenstocks.
Yeah, wearing Birkenstocks.
This is awesome.
I figured you could get framed and put up in your office.
I love it. Look, Andy Ashby, our guy, our favorite burrito guy.
All right. Okay, so opening day, Joey and I are going to make Andy Ashby burritos.
I'm going to ask, do you have that, what's in the Andy Ashby burrito?
Let me find it again.
Bean burrito.
I'll just flip it through it, yeah.
I'm expecting like paprika or something stupid. Something, for lack of a better term, very white to be. This is awesome. Yeah, this is it's a, back in the day, children, you used to get programs for the season, and they have tons of information. There was it'd be it's like your own like season guide.
Yeah.
So there's a scorecard in here, visitor lineups. This is awesome.
So the ingredients for Andy Ashbury burritos are half a can of pinto beans.
Okay. Already starting off rough. Okay.
Right. Half cup of minced red onions.
Okay.
Two teaspoons of chopped cilantro.
Okay.
1 teaspoon of black pepper. 1 teaspoon of fresh oregano, and 12 to 15-inch flour tortillas.
That's not terrible.
Not at all.
That's pretty.
But like, there's photos of each of the players. Like, I just passed Ken Caminetti's steak. like,
if Ken Caminiti hands you a steak, I mean, hope you have a drug test after.
I was gonna say, what's the special ingredient, Ken? Oh man, look at all this. This is cool.
Yeah.
Archie Sinfrocco mushroom stew. With a last name like Sinfrocco, you know he has some family name.
Yeah.
Stuff.
How many of these are actually they came up with, or did the Padres be like, "Hey, do you want to be? Which of these do you want? Do you want the burrito? Do you want the mushroom stew?"
I think it's very telling. They're all photos of their wives because it's clearly their wives' ingredients.
That's awesome. Well, this is awesome, James. I'm gonna get this framed.
Yeah, so I one of the more iconic Padre covers of all time.
Oh yeah, it's these books are basically, and I'll add these to the show notes actually. This is like the way you'd get to know a team. I mean, you didn't really like, if you were like a kid, you didn't really listen to sports radio. There was no website for the Padres. You had to like learn it all this way, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There is a photo of true believers of Ted Leitner, Jerry Coleman, and Bob Chandler all dressed as swinging friars, looking like they're angels.
That would be a great poster.
That's awesome. That's awesome, James. This is cool. This is super cool. Well, what a Merry Christmas.
What a
James.
Merry Christmas, Joey.
Yeah, I have so much warmth in my heart. It feels good. It feels great. Anything else to add, James, to the children at home who are thinking about pudding and pie and gifts underneath the tree?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a great year. It's been a great year so far. What else as a Padre fan could you ask for Christmas?
That's right. Talk with your family on Christmas morning. Ask each other, what more do we want from our San Diego Padres? James, my name is Joey. Your name is James. And until next time, go Padres.
There it is! Oh, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!